So what was the main reason why you decided to move back to Mexico?
Because I was at high altitude, building a gym at high altitude. Remember, I told you conditioning is everything, man. It means a lot in boxing. You know, training in the high altitude gets you in the best shape possible if you know how to do it right. You know, you just can't train when you train at high altitude. I perfect. Over the years, I perfected on how to get a guy to maximum condition. If not, if you don't do it right, you'll burn your fighter out. But because of the thin air, so you got to know how to. You got to know how to. There's an art, a science in my head, and I'm not knowing how to do it. And everything. Every fighter's different, so I know. I know when they're reaching their peak, and being in this high altitude. When you go down to sea level, you're full of air.
So do you train those fighters in Mexico different to when you were training guys in Sacramento?
Fuck no, I train them the same basic fundamentals. I come up here and I show them the basic fundamentals, and the advanced stuff, the shoulder rolls, the counters, and all these Mexicans look at me like they never seen it before.
But the conditioning the same though, Sacramento and Mexico.
Yeah, do the same shit.
Same conditioning drills.
But the difference is we're at altitude here. Okay, meaning your body works 3 times harder up here to get the same amount of oxygen. Okay, that means you gotta push your body 3 times harder. It's the environment. It's not me. It's the environment we're in. Look at Salvador Sanchez. You ever see him fight?
Yeah, plenty. Yeah.
You ever see him get tired in fights?
No, it was like nicknamed like lungs, iron lung.
Did you ever see him get tired in fights? Putting combination up. He trained at the high altitude of his hometown, right outside Mexico City, Santiago Tianguistenco, right outside Mexico City. Higher altitude than Mexico City, 8,700 feet altitude. Wow. Mexico City's 7,500 feet altitude. He trained at a higher altitude. He lived there. That's where he was born and everything. You never seen him get tired. Oh. Yeah, that's where I learned all this shit from back then. Back in the day, it put a seed in his mind. I'm like, oh, okay. Then over the years, I moved to, Larry Goosen opened up a gym in Big Bear. Okay. Then we used to train in Lake Tahoe, high altitude, 6,700 feet. Then we went to Big Bear, 6,700 feet. I what do you call it? I learned the value of what it is, what it is, what importance it is when you train in this altitude. Oh yeah, but you gotta know how to do it, man. Rookie coaches or coaches that have never done it before, you'll burn your fighter out. You gotta know, you gotta know when to put your foot on the pedal. You gotta know when to back off. Okay. And some days, some days are not even hard days. They're just shakeout days. A lot of shadow boxing, like Manning used to do, just sweating. Okay. Because the following day, you're going to have a hard workout, hard sparring. So you don't want to do a hard workout the day before you do hard sparring. Okay. Stuff like that. I got a good feel, on how to condition guys up here in the high altitude. Not too many people do. But that's the reason why I like it up here, man. Do I like living up here? Oh, fuck no, man. I'd rather live at sea level, man, at the beach, warm. Up here, man, it's different. Your bones and your joints ache more. And I'm used to the air now. I can breathe good and everything. Yeah, but when I first got here, but every fight, I give you an example. Mexico City, there was a fight last week. A kid came up from the States. Good prospect, undefeated. He got his ass whooped by just a local guy, 500 record. Yeah, he couldn't take it. The altitude got to him after 4 rounds. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't move. And that guy from Mexico just swarmed on him. Yeah, he was dead tired after 2. Yeah, the guy from Mexico just jumped on him. I was like looking at this manager. Why do you bring your kid up here to fight in high altitude if he's not adjusted to it? Oh, he found out. Yeah, it was a good prospect. That was a guy from Florida, tall, rangy, good puncher. But that kid from Mexico lived in Mexico City. He's adjusted to the altitude. That guy from the States, after 2 rounds, he couldn't move. And that guy from Mexico, remember I told you? They're on you.
So how long does a fighter typically need then to adjust to the sea level? A couple of weeks?
takes longer than that, man.
Yeah. Wow.
Me personally, 6 weeks. And
6
if
weeks.
you're lucky, if level 1, you'll get. There's different levels of adjustment. Level 1, 6 weeks. You live up here, okay, all year round. You're always okay. You're adjusted, but you just come here for 6 weeks. You'll be at the bare necessity, the bare amount of time you need.
Minimum.
The bare minimum to get adjusted to the altitude, man. Yeah, then you got to fight at this altitude. Yeah, it's different. Come here, and I'll show you. Yeah, come here. When you're in Mexico, and you'll see the difference. Like, oh shit!
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of guys come up here, and lose because they're not adjusted to the altitude. Just like that guy last week. I had a good feeling. I'm like, man, this guy, he just got here 2 days before the fight. And I don't know what the fuck his manager's thinking, man. Like, don't you know? I guess he didn't know. Why bring your fighter to Mexico City to fight if you're not adjusted to the altitude against a strong, tough pressure fighter? That was nothing special, but he lived there. He was adjusted to the altitude, and the other guy wasn't. And if you ain't got no air in your gas tank, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's what happened, man. After the fight, that guy was just so down and distraught. It ain't his fault. It's his manager for putting him in that situation. Yeah, you come up here, man. I'm telling you, man, it's hard to fight in this altitude.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just telling you from experience. I've been to low sea level, and I've been to this. It's the toughest environment in the minor leagues. Getting your fighter ready before they go to the States. It's the toughest I've ever been in. Because these guys in Mexico City, these fighters, when you spar them in the gym, you better have, you better be acclimated to the altitude, and you better be ready to fight somebody that's going to fight you.
Yeah. Was it Lewis who lost, and he blamed on not adjusting to the altitude in South Africa?
Yeah, they got there late. Yeah. Rahman got there a month before. From his manager, Stan Hoffman, the guy that used to manage Rahman. He told me that I think they got up there early to get used to the altitude, adjust, because it's high altitude. They fought in Sun City, I think. Sun City, I think, which is like 6,000, 7,000 feet altitude.
Wow.
I think, I recall. And Lewis didn't, they didn't get there in time.
Yeah, he was filming. He was filming for Ocean's 11, something like that. Some scenes in a Hollywood movie. So he got to the fight late to the camp. Yeah. So
and fighting a big puncher like Hasim Rahman, dangerous. And he didn't recover too. When he got knocked down, he didn't recover. When you're in good condition, you should be able to get up. But that thin air, it's different, man. People don't understand, man. To me, this is the toughest environment to fight when you're coming up. If you got 4, 6, 8 round fighters, because of the thin air. But if you live up here, you're used to it. But if you just come in here 2 weeks, even 6 weeks for the fight. Yeah. I don't care what kind of condition you are at sea level. That's sea level conditioning. This is high altitude conditioning. Night and day, baby. Night and day.
Yeah. Not only is it harder, you're fighting guys higher, putting pressure on you, making you fight harder. So you got to gas even quicker.
Your heart rate goes up. When they're putting that pressure on you, it's making you expend more energy.
Yeah.
And if you can't breathe, you're not acclimated to the altitude. Yeah. You see what I mean now? Yeah. It's tough, man. 75. Sea level is easy. Training at sea level is easy work. It's easy. To me, it's easy. It is. I'm not bragging or nothing. I just know I've experienced both. But coming up here, training at this altitude, we're running the hills, 8,500, 10,000 feet altitude, up straight up. I don't need a fucking strength conditioning coach. That's a strength and conditioning, man. When you're running the hills, 8,000 feet, 9,000, 10,000 feet straight up. You know what I mean? The fuck, I need a strength and conditioning coach. Shit. You know what I mean? That's some conditioning.
Yeah, you won't need it there, will you? But is there Are they popular in Mexico, strength and conditioning coaches, or did you find no one really has them there?
Just the fucking internet. Yeah, I see them around. I
I
laugh.
saw
I laugh when I see them. I'm like, okay.
it's
You've been
Justin
watching
Canelo
the
Alvarez,
footage.
Justin Canelo's camp.
Instagram, man. You see him. You see him. This shit, man. Yeah, man. If it works, good. Man, if it works for them, great. I don't need this shit, man. I know.
You don't
My
need it.
fighter told me that. He goes, fuck them push-ups and all that. Hell, this bag work and sparring is gonna get me in shape. Yep.
Yeah, I see. I just said that attitude probably don't need a strength and conditioning coach. It's hard enough as it is, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Look, you only got so much gas in your tank. A lot of these strength conditioning coaches, they overwork you. So by the time you get to the gym, you ain't got shit. You know what I mean? So that's why I stay away from that shit, because all the weights and all that shit, by the time they do, by the time they get to the gym, they ain't got no energy. So the fight is won in the gym, not in the fucking weight room. All right. All right. So, but in the off season, meaning between fights, I don't mind them, going to that shit, doing that strength conditioning and, just keep in shape, keep the weight down, get physically stronger. Yeah. But when we get ready for a fight, it's all boxing, baby. You want to get in shape? I'm going to get one of them 250-pound heavy bags. Go 8 to 10 on that. Okay. That's going to give you that. That's going to get you in shape. Or the hard sparring. That's going to get you in shape, man. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's just me. I learned that strength conditioning shit. Manuel was like that too. He didn't believe in that shit. He thought it was, he didn't believe in that shit. And Eddie was in, Eddie died before all that shit happened. So I know Eddie, he would have fucking thought that shit was a joke too. Bill Miller. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the old school coaches, they stayed away from weight training, didn't they?
Fuck no, they never did that shit.
You can tell by their physique still. They didn't do weights. They were very lean and supple, weren't they?
Yeah, Aguero, I don't think he never did that shit. Alexis, I know him pretty good. Alexis, yeah, we talked about that. He never done that weight training and all. He just the gym workout, push ups. He'll do some push ups, and that's about it. Road work, push that. He didn't have a strength conditioning coach.
Yeah.
One thing I like is a nutritionist. You know what I mean? To prepare your meals.
Mm.
Yeah, that's one thing. Because what you eat outside, to me, nutrition is just as important as training, especially when you bring your weight down. Eating the right foods, the right amount of foods at the right time. Yeah, and a good, nutrition this, helps out and everything on that part. Yeah.
Definitely.
Massage therapist too, to get that soreness out of you. Physical therapist too, because your fighter gets injured in training and sparring. So a physical therapist helps you overcome them injuries, okay? Where you're not going in to fight damaged material. You know what I mean? So a good physical therapist, a good nutritionist, good massage therapist. Yeah. I would add that to my team, but strength conditioning coach, fuck no. No.